What's the best revenge you've had on a boss who took credit for your work? I worked at a temp agency right out of college. The pay was terrible, $32,000 in a city where rent ate half my paycheck, but I needed experience. The manager, Linda, was the worst kind of micromanager. She demanded to proofread every external email before we sent it, insisted on being CC ed on everything, and actually timed our bathroom breaks. Her office had glass walls so she could watch us at all times. She'd installed some software that let her see our screens remotely. Once, she called me into her office because I'd spent 4 unnecessary minutes on LinkedIn. "That's not what I pay you for," she said, even though I was updating our company page. The email thing was the worst part. Every single email to employers or candidates had to go through her first. She'd sit on them for hours, making tiny changes that often made things worse. "I've been in this business for 15 years, she'd say. I know how to communicate professionally." The thing is, Linda wasn't particularly smart or well-spoken. She regularly misused words, had terrible sentence structure, and put commas in bizarre places. I'd watch her send emails with your instead of your or should have instead of should have, but nobody dared correct her. One day, my coworker Sarah got a response from an employer praising her email about candidate placements. It said something like, "This is exactly the kind of clear, professional communication we appreciate from your agency." Linda immediately replied, "Thank you for the positive feedback. As the manager here, I personally oversee and edit all outgoing communications to ensure quality. This level of professionalism is a direct result of my oversight." Sarah looked like she wanted to scream. She'd written that email entirely herself. Linda had just added an unnecessary comma. The next staff meeting, Linda made it official. "Any positive feedback the agency receives should be credited to management since I proofread everything. You're representing my standards when you send emails under our agency name." I started documenting her corrections. Ensure, when she meant ensure. Comprise of, instead of comprise. Irregardless, at least twice a week. But I kept quiet, needing the job. Then came the incident. I was writing to Davidson Industries, our biggest client. They'd paid us $200,000 in placement fees the previous year. I was recommending a candidate for their VP position, writing that she was perfect, based on her past experience in pharmaceutical sales. Linda called me to her office. "Email looks good, but one correction. It should be past experience, not past." Past, as in she passed through that experience. "Linda, that's not correct. It's definitely past experience." She leaned back in her chair, smiling that condescending smile. "I've been writing professional emails since before you were in high school. Past is the correct word here. It's past tense, but past is already..." "Are you really going to argue with me about grammar? I have a communications degree." I wanted to point out her degree was from an online diploma mill, but I needed rent money. "Fine, I'll change it. And make sure I'm CC ed. Davidson Industries needs to know management is involved." I went back to my desk, changed it to past experience, and wondered if I was being petty for what I was about to do. Then I remembered her taking credit for Sarah's work, her constant surveillance, and her bathroom break timer. I sent the email with past experience and CC ed Linda. The response came within 2 hours. The VP of Davidson Industries, who happened to have a PhD in English literature before going into business, wrote back, "Thank you for the candidate recommendation. She looks promising and will schedule an interview." However, as an employer who frequently hires for positions involving written communication, I feel compelled to point out that it should be past experience, not past experience. We value attention to detail in our partnerships. My moment had come. I hit reply all and typed, "Thank you so much for the correction, Dr. Davidson. You're absolutely right, and I apologize for the error." My manager, Linda, who personally proofreads all our external communications to ensure quality, as she mentioned in her email to you last month, insisted on past experience despite my initial instinct to use past. She was quite certain about it, citing her communications degree and 15 years of experience. I'll be sure to share your helpful feedback with her, as she values client input highly. I added Linda's boss, the agency owner, to the CC line. Within 5 minutes, Linda was at my desk, face bright red. "We need to talk." "Can't right now. Dr. Davidson just sent another email asking for 3 more candidates. I should probably respond quickly." She stood there, mouth opening and closing like a fish. The next morning, Linda announced she would no longer be proofreading external emails. "I trust you all to maintain professional standards," she said, not making eye contact with anyone.